Today on Play to Win, the future of college football from signing day, plus the Super Bowl pick and party. We'll also have injuries and the future of fantasy football on the fastest 30 minutes in football.
Play to Win is being brought to you by Toyota, the Georgia Lottery, and John Foy and Associates. Welcome to Play to Win with former Falcons All-Pro defensive end Chuck Smith, Fantasy Football League previews with Adam Brown, game analysis with Nikki Williams, Play to Win expert Jeffrey the Ed Schechter, medical and injury update with Dr. Andrew Lalage, and your host, Atlanta sports veteran Bob Neal. Today's SEC report is being brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places.
And welcome to Play to Win on our final show of the season, pre-Super Bowl picks. And today on the show, Bob Whitfield, Nikki Williams, Harper LaBelle. Good to see all of you for the finale for today.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, it's good to see you, and we're going to start, as usual, with the SEC report brought to you by Toyota. And let's take a look as we begin here about the SEC on Wednesday. It was signing day. Everybody in college football looking at it. You see the top 10 signing classes, according to 24/7 Sports. Alabama up there at the top. And Bob Whitfield, let's start there with Alabama and your thought of it. Once again, the tide just keeps rolling in.
Oh, they definitely keep rolling in. And how about an early enrollee, Bob? We got a kid out of California. He came all the way from Folsom, an offensive tackle that enrolled early. Jonah Williams is his name. He is expected to be slated to compete for a slot at left tackle, and he might be a competitive player since he's going to be there during the spring and get his weight up. Look for him to be an excellent player for the Tide.
Boy, that's a load. You just look at that name there, talented players. And Nikki, another school that's moving up for the last several years under Hugh Freeze is Ole Miss.
Right, and Hugh Freeze didn't get to address his needs at linebacker, but let's don't forget about Shea Peterson. That's the most significant move that they made. He was an early commit. Historically, Ole Miss has a hard time recruiting quality quarterbacks, so this was a great move. He's got one heck of a receiving core. And shout out to four-star safety Deontay Anderson, who committed in the air, literally in the air. He committed while he was skydiving through a pre-recorded Bleacher Report video. Lots of flair this year.
I always thought once you jump out of a plane, you are committed.
Whether you like it or not.
You're committed to going down, hoping the parachute will open. Harper, let's talk about LSU. In the minds of a lot of people, LSU, if not the top class in the country, had one of the top classes.
Yeah, year after year, they seem to roll out great players. But this year, I think a little bit more than often, what you've seen in the past is they've stayed local. They've got a lot of kids from Louisiana. 14 local players are the ones that they've signed, and that's going to bode well for the moms and dads in that area. Les Miles had a great recruiting class. He seems to every year, and this could be another terrific class that keeps them competitive.
Okay, it's time for the College Showdown brought to you by the Georgia Lottery. And on our showdown today, we want to talk about notable classes, not just in the South, but around the country. Yes, Ohio State had another good recruiting class, but Mr. Michigan man here loved what Jim Harbaugh did at the university. He knows how to do it, and they got the number one guy in the country.
The number one prize.
Right there,
just
Rashawn
for you,
Gary.
Bob. Yeah, they did. And Harbaugh did this great signing of the stars, red carpet, star-studded event, literally. He had Tom Brady, Derek Jeter, Vince Vaughn, Ric Flair, Jalen Rose, Lou Holtz, Mike Shanahan. They all came in to introduce these recruits.
I was tied up, or I would have been
I want to do something different.
They invited me, but I
knew you were invited.
Couldn't be there too. What are your thoughts, by the way, on signing day? Let's talk about the kids and the parents and what's really happening there when they're making these big announcements for their future.
Well, isn't it interesting that you take a young man or a girl that is being invited to go to college, and let's not forget there's a big business in the entirety of this collegiate athletics, but the biggest thing, you get a scholarship. You get a chance to go to school, and take advantage of it, young kids. Boys and girls all over the nation, don't let the school take advantage of you, but take that $20,000 to $200,000 investment and make it work for you.
All right, great advice. They talk about paying the kids. That is a big
We're
part
gonna
of it.
get you a ruler.
Is that free? That's right. Is that free education you're getting? Kids, listen up. Next, Georgia and Georgia Tech recruiting classes.
Play monsoon. How are you tracking?
Right on time.
The 2016 Toyota Corolla. The perfect ride for the perfect drive.
See you tomorrow.
Get a low 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2016 Toyota Corolla. Toyota, let's go places.
Bad pipes, clogs, broken water heater? We can fix that. ST's Plumbing Services, your man for all seasons since 1949, will make your plumbing problems disappear. From pesky pipes to new water heaters, we can fix that.
How much is a Jumbo Bucks Lotto ticket?
It's $1.
Okay. No, actually, I'm gonna get the corn dog instead.
You can't win if you don't play. Play Georgia's own Jumbo Bucks Lotto with jackpots starting at $1 million.
If you're looking for a new Toyota, what are you waiting for, Atlanta? Check out the amazing deals and great selection at Stone Mountain Toyota. We'll save you a ton on a 2016 Camry, and you won't believe how low our price is on new Corolla with our January New Year's savings. Save time and shop online at StoneMountainToyota.com. We'll make it worth your drive when you visit us today. You'll be glad you did.
Stone Mountain Toyota, a great price, a great buying experience. Come in and have a cup of coffee with me today.
Heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from Estes. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
Hometown Team Report is being brought to you by Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, bringing a higher order of pizza to Atlanta for 40 years.
All right, it is time for the Hometown Team Report, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. And remember Mellow Mushroom, because they're going to play a part later in the show that you don't want to miss. I know I'm already drooling about it, so that kind of gives you a hint right there. This Hometown Team Report, we're going to talk about Georgia and Georgia Tech signing classes. And the first one is the University of Georgia. And here are some of the top recruits. And, of course, the one who is committed and is already on campus right there at the top, along with that great tight end, Isaac Nauta, is Jacob Eason. Bob Whitfield.
Well, we've been talking about Jacob Eason a whole lot, and this is one of those pressure cooker situations, and if he's the diamond in the rough, he has to show and prove. According to Kirby Smart, Jacob Eason has a lot of work cut out for him, but the pressure is still on Smart and Chaney to show up and deliver as coaches and build a scheme so this kid can become that diamond for Georgia.
All right, that's Jacob Eason. What about Kirby Smart's first class as the new head coach?
He did all right, Bob. He did. I mean, people are a little bummed about E.J. Price. Anytime you miss out on talent right underneath your nose, it's a tough pill to swallow. Mark Richt only missed out on the state's top prospect twice in the last 7 years, but let's don't forget about Demetris Robertson. This is the country's top receiver. He's taking his time before he commits, and rumor has it he's got a trip to Athens left on the docket before he makes his final decision.
And I know that, I don't think he's going to go there, but I know that Georgia Tech was trying to recruit this kid as good as he is, that Robertson kid.
Right.
But
Everyone
Georgia's
is.
right in there. All right, let's talk about Georgia Tech, speaking of that, and what Georgia Tech did on signing day, their top 5 commits. Harbor, what you're thinking about Georgia Tech?
Well, they've got a lot of 3-stars. One of the things that they're going to have to work on and improve on is getting to that 4- and 5-star level. Paul Johnson will be happy, though. Now, Lucas Johnson is a quarterback from San Diego that has all the tools to fit in his type of offense. Great legs, he can run, but he also has a good arm and should be able to get the ball and spread it out to the receivers down the field. Brian Cook, their quarterback coach, should be smiling ear to ear because this is a young man that can really make a difference for the Tech.
He's my neighbor, so I've already seen him smiling about that. And by the way, remember about whenever we look at Georgia Tech's recruiting class, they are recruiting for a scheme, particularly offensively in the run option that they run, that read option that they play. So a lot of the players may not look good to another team, but might look good to Paul Johnson and Brian Cook and the offensive players there on Georgia Tech. So that's Georgia Tech's situation this year. They seem to be relatively pleased with it on the flats, even though it didn't get national recognition. Coming back in just a moment, we're going to get Adam Brown on fantasy drafts.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's the pride.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
It's not limited edition, not cask conditioned, not exclusive or extra, nor is it private reserve. It is, however, a rare breed. American lager from an American-owned, family-operated brewery. Since 1829, we kept it so simple, we're still in fashion. Fancy that. America's oldest brewery, Yingling.
I was driving in my Camry when I played the text.
When can I see you again?
I entered the location, 22 Beechwood Lane. The car rerouted me,
Turn left.
told me where to go,
Turn right.
and I arrived 5.1 minutes later. Now, if only my car could tell me what to do next. Get a low 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Today's Fantasy Report is being brought to you by SD Services. Home comfort or plumbing issues? We can fix that.
All right, time for Adam Brown now in our fantasy football. We're going to look at the Falcon projections for the draft. They'll be future fantasy players, perhaps. So let's get started. What you're projecting for the Falcons. Remember, the Combine's late in February, so these could change, but here they are today.
Noah Spence, first-round pick for the Falcons out of Eastern Kentucky, went to Ohio State, got kicked out of Ohio State. Dan Quinn's been a master of being able to work with players that have had problems in the past and make them solid NFL players. Pharaoh Cooper in the second round to take Roddy White's place. Jalen Mills to take William Moore's place. Scooby Wright, if the Falcons could get him in the fourth round, be amazing considering he was an All-American in 2014 with 14 sacks. And finally, in round 7, DJ Petway, Alabama defensive end, solid player, coached by Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. I think he's going to have a solid NFL career.
And that was a solid report. It's been great being with you this year.
Same with you, man. It's been so much fun.
And we'll see
Good luck, everyone.
Next August. Stay with us. We'll come back. More on the Super Bowl next.
Heating system blowing cold air? We can fix that. Turn to the experts at Carrier and SD Services. We've been installing and repairing heating and air systems in Atlanta for 66 years. Save energy and money with a dual fuel system from SD's. Need to get warm? We can fix that.
In a wreck? Get a check.
I'm attorney John Foy, the strong arm. If you've been in a car accident, someone needs to pay. The sooner you call, the faster we'll get started.
I was hit and my car was spun out of control. I suffered injuries all over my body. I got the upper hand. I called the strong arm. My check, $1.2 million.
In a wreck? Get a check. Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
We've owned a few different houses through the years. Your company was absolutely the best. They were so professional. Everything they did, they didn't get a mark on a wall or anything else. It was clean, it was friendly, and it was fun. And most of the time, moving is not fun. I'm going to give a great recommendation to Atlanta Peach Movers. It's always on time and it's always professional. There is no tree in Atlanta Peach Movers.
To schedule your move, call Atlanta Peach Movers today.
Bad pipes, clogs, broken water heater? We can fix that. SD's Plumbing Services, your man for all seasons since 1949, will make your plumbing problems disappear. From pesky pipes to new water heaters. We can fix that.
Today's NFL Report is being brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com.
Now it is time for the NFL Super Bowl report brought to you by Nissan, the Carolina Panthers, and the Denver Broncos. Denver with the number 1 defense, Carolina with the number 1 offense. And speaking of that number 1 offense, Bob Whitfield, Cam Newton. That's all I have to say. 2 words, Cam Newton.
Well, Bob, I call it like this. He's been making a statement. He started this week with a fashion statement. He came around with another statement about abolishing the black quarterback mantra or the tag for it. And now you're going to see him make an MVP statement in the Super Bowl and for the league. I love Cam Newton leading the Panthers to victory.
I love the joy. I've said it on the show before. The joy he brings to the game. Man, it pumps me up just watching him. And we'll see how many touchdowns he can score against a tough Denver Broncos defense. And speaking of that defense, Nikki.
Yeah, well, I agree with everything you just said, Bob, but the Panthers they wouldn't have the offense that they have if it weren't for the defense. They're scoring on defense to make it even easier for the offense. The Panthers are #1 in turnover margin, takeaway, and interceptions.
Good defensive team. Denver's getting a lot of the pub. Carolina also really good. Harper, I want to know what you think about these Panthers.
Well, you mentioned the joy. They're having a blast right now. Eugene Robinson, who does the color for them on their radio, tells me the other day that even in practice, Cam would stop what he's doing just before he's ready to cross the goal line and pitch it to one of his offensive linemen, allowing him to score. Stuff that you don't see all the time, but he's having a great time. He's taking everybody for the ride. Remember, he won a national championship at Auburn. He won a junior college national championship at Blinn. He knows how to win, and this could be his chance on the biggest stage of all.
Okay, we talk Cam Newton. We also talk about the legendary Peyton Manning with the Broncos, Bob Whitfield.
Well, I'd like to give an ode to Peyton Manning here. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, a special player that the NFL has enjoyed to have around, and he's looking to do what his GM has done at Denver, play his last game in the winning Super Bowl fashion. I love you, Peyton, but that won't happen. So take your back home and just cherish the moment, because sorry, bro.
Sorry, not going to happen. And you had some thoughts on Peyton,
my
too,
thought
Nikki.
was, sorry, bruh, right there with you on that. Well, so Peyton Manning statistically is having his worst season of his career right now. He's tied for dead last in quarterback rating. I know that's a shoddy scale as it is, but you've got to at least agree that if you're tied for dead last, you're not doing well. So in the past, when the Broncos have made it to the Super Bowl, it's been because of Peyton Manning. This year, it's more of in spite of Peyton Manning.
Do the Broncos have a chance in this game? They're like, Carolina's like a 6 or 7 depending point favorite. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think their chance with their defense, and the reason they got there is because they play terrific defense. If they're able to slow down or reduce the amount of trick plays, the ones that we haven't really seen a whole lot from Carolina, if they're able to stop them there and their defense has a chance to score and keep them in the ball game, absolutely they got a chance. They could be Super Bowl champions in Peyton's last game.
They're quarterback bruisers.
Yeah, they are quarterback bruisers. I like
Yeah,
that.
they
Ask
sent
Tom
Andrew
Brady.
Luck to the hospital with a lacerated kidney. They don't mess around.
Listen to her.
It's
Listen to her.
true.
She's just nuggets
They
of
got in
knowledge
Tom Brady's face over and
flying
over. They're
around the
bruisers.
room. You've been flying around the country, and she's flying around with nuggets of knowledge. We've been doing a lot of studying in the airports. It's time now for our 68 Seconds with 680, our partners on Play to Win. Chris Domino, we want you to pick the Super Bowl.
Hey, Bob, so the direct question is predict the Super Bowl, not necessarily talk about who you'd like to win the Super Bowl, and those might be different things for different people. I'm just going to throw it out there. Peyton Manning is not going to go 3 games in a postseason without throwing an interception. He's done it 2 games in a row. Phenomenal. I just don't think there's going to be a third. I think it's a combination of Carolina's defense and, quite honestly, what's plagued Peyton Manning. To get to this point, to maybe ride off into the sunset with a Lombardi Trophy would be unbelievable. I just don't think it's going to happen that way. Cam Newton, even though I watched Wade Phillips and his defense do things to Tom Brady I've never seen happen to Tom Brady, I don't think they can dial it up even with 2 weeks' time against this guy. He's the MVP of the league. He's the most dynamic player in the league. And I do think he's got a defense now that will hand him the football for a couple of extra possessions. That spells sort of disaster for the Denver Broncos if losing a Super Bowl can be quantified as a disaster. I like Carolina to score 4 touchdowns. I don't think Denver's offense can do that. If you're going to play the how will the game go, well, I do know this. Carolina will give you more opportunities to win in a shootout. Denver doesn't have enough bullets to actually get into a shootout. I'm going to take Carolina in this game. I'm going to go 35-20 Carolina Panthers.
Wow, that's a lot of points, I think, against a good Denver defense, 35 points. But maybe like an interception return for a touchdown or a special teams touchdown maybe happen. Now it's time for us to pick. A little bit later, the Edge is going to give you his pick against the spread. But about how you picking it?
You know what, Bob? I'm going with Cam. He's going to hit it.
Cam is going to hit the three-pointer and win, meaning a basketball reference there. Nikki, who are you looking at?
Right, wrong sport, Bob. I'm going Cam, too, this time for football and for his dimples and his dance moves. Cam.
That's it, dimples and dance moves?
I can't agree with them. I'm going to go with the old man. I think the whole team is going to say, we're going to do everything we can to get this guy out as a champion. It would be a surprise, but it may just happen.
I, too, am picking, you heard it here, an upset in the Super Bowl. Denver Broncos upset the Panthers. Love you, Cam, but that's how I'm seeing it. All right, when we come back, Jeffrey the Edge is going to pick against the spread. And speaking of spread, we have a party spread with mellow mushroom pizza, maybe even more importantly.
Yeah.
Find it here.
You probably say it a million times a day. But at Cigna, we want to help everyone say it once a year.
Say
Cigna medical plans cover 100% of your in-network annual checkup. So America, let's go, know, and take control of your health. Cigna, together all the way.
The Wizard, can you make me real so I can eat real mellow mushroom pizza instead of cartoon pizza?
Stand back. Here we go. Alakazam! Wiggity stickity poof!
I'm still a cartoon.
Then that'd be a no.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness.
Wiggity stickity poof.
Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
How much is a Jumbo Bucks Lotto ticket?
It's $1.
Okay. No, actually, I'm gonna get the corn dog instead.
You can't win if you don't play. Play Georgia's own Jumbo Bucks Lotto with jackpots starting at $1 million.
I was driving in my Camry when I played the text.
When can I see you again?
I entered the location, 22 Beechwood Lane. The car rerouted me,
Turn left.
told me where to go,
Turn right.
and I arrived 5.1 minutes later. Now, if only my car could tell me what to do next. Get a low 0% APR for 72 months on a new 2016 Toyota Camry. Toyota, let's go places.
Today's Player Medical and Injury Report is being brought to you by John Foy and Associates. Personal injury law. Get the strong arm.
All right, it's time for our final Player Medical and Injury Report with Dr. Anand Lalaji, who we like to call Dr. A, creator of InsideInjuries.com.
Yes, yes.
All year long, you've been reporting projections about players on all the teams in the NFL. But now it's Super Bowl week.
Yep, and we have 2 teams left, and all year long we're talking about every individual player, but now we're going to take a look at the whole team together and their healthiness. So the Carolina Panthers, look at what all of these injuries are. Defensive line, linebacker, defensive back, defensive line, linebacker, linebacker. These guys are all on the defensive side. What's noticeably missing is the offensive side of the ball. Jonathan Stewart is really the only guy, and his foot injury is pretty much healed. Also take a look at the injury location. Foot, knee, foot, groin. Lower extremity, defensive line, pass rush. It's going to be a factor in the game.
And varying degrees of injuries for these.
Absolutely.
Most are going to play, but they will be playing with those injuries.
Right, and now Jared Allen, remember he had the fracture fixation, and normally it takes 6 weeks to heal, and he's going to play. If he gets hit on that fixation, he's going to come out of the game, and it's going to be triple the length of his recovery. Let's take a look at the Broncos now, and again, defensive back, linebacker, defensive line. All of these guys, again, are on the defensive side of the ball. Look at the injury location, knee, ankle, lower extremity. Pass rush is going to be an issue, basically.
Okay, and let's talk about this now as we
Yes.
go in. Those 2 teams go into the Super Bowl. Carolina with a really good offense. Denver not so much.
Yep.
Denver the best defensive team in the league.
Number one team, number one offense in the league is Carolina going against a banged up defense.
Picking it based on your injury knowledge. Which way are you leaning?
Carolina, number one offense going against a banged up Denver Broncos defense is probably going to prevail because Denver's offense is not as good as Carolina's offense.
By the way, it's been a great season with
I enjoyed the whole year, and unfortunately, I have to go back to work now.
Exactly.
But I do want to give a shout out to the brainiacs at InsideInjuries.com to create this algorithm because numbers don't lie.
You've been great all season long. He'll be back August 19th. That's when we start again next year. And that's Player Medical Report, Inside Injuries with Dr. A. We'll be back in just a moment with the NFL.
In a wreck, get a check.
A reckless driver swerved into me. I called the strong arm. My check, $675,000.
Get the strong arm. Attorney John Foy and Associates.
Why can't I have a slice of yours?
You're a cartoon. You can only have cartoon pizza.
It's not fair.
Look, this pie is 100% real, and you're colored ink. It's physics, man.
Well, can you buy me a beer?
I can buy you a cartoon beer. Are you single?
It's right.
Everyone wants real mellow mushroom pizza because our pies use premium meats and cheeses, fresh veggies, and spring water dough baked with wheat goodness. Mellow mushroom, a higher order of pizza.
It can happen to anyone. The road to your recovery can be painful, both physically and financially. Protect your rights and get the lawyer who fights.
All right, our finale for Play to Win in 2015-16, 26 shows. Hope you've enjoyed them. We're going to finish with Jeffrey the Ed Schechter. Not here today, but we made sure that he got his pick in for the Super Bowl. Jeffrey is going with Carolina -6 over Denver. I've obviously gone opposite that. As I always tell you, always go with Jeffrey, not Bob. And look at this, by the way. Big round of applause for yourselves here. We've got all the Mellow Mushroom people here today. And Annika Kreider, who is the Vice President of Brand Development for Mellow Mushroom. Thanks for being here and bringing your people, and particularly the pizzas. Look at those. It's Super Bowl, so it was a perfect time to get you guys to come on. Thank you for your sponsorship. You've been great. And you do a lot of things around the Super Bowl with Mellow Mushroom.
That's right, we do. We actually have a Super Sunday special, which all these delicious items represent. In any of our 33 locations from Athens to Atlanta, you can get 2 large one-topping pizzas, and then 10 of our wings. Our wings are actually one of our most popular items, surprisingly enough to a lot of people, but they're delicious. They're oven roasted. Yeah. They're all natural. They come in 5 flavors. They're fantastic, and you also get one of these, which are
I love this right
really
here.
Fun. Yeah.
This is for the let's call it your unsweetened iced tea or your sweet tea in
That's
the
right.
South or whatever.
And then you can use it later with whatever.
For whatever, that
you
would
can
be
take
me.
it to the game later.
The
fill it
whatever
with-
there, and don't forget, Bob's already into the pizza. By the way,
That's fine,
was
Bob.
it
We
okay
love an
for him to eat
endorsement.
the
It's
props?
fine.
Do you have anything to say besides yum yum?
My mama said don't talk with your mouth full.
So you're gonna, and you also have some catering and stuff that are available for people, right?
We do, and this special in particular, we would love it if people want to call ahead. They can set up their time to pick up, make it really orderly. We do much more, as you might imagine, to-go business on game day. People are couch gating; they want to take the stuff to the party. This is enough to feed probably 8 people.
Fantastic.
So get you a good party for $40.
All right, party on Sunday. And by the way, I want to thank specifically here on our final show for the year, the folks at Chattahoochee Tech, our home for shooting the video for Play to Win. Ian Feinberg, Jim Townley, whom we love to call Butch, who's the editor, and all the students and other professionals at Chattahoochee Tech. Thank you for all you do in making the show look so good. And thank you to Mellow Mushroom for a great season and all our other sponsors. It's been a fantastic season. We'll be back August 19th. Circle your calendar. That's when Play to Win will return. I'm Bob Neal for our entire staff and crew and the MM people, Mellow Mushroom, who've been here today. We wish you a happy year. We'll see you next August.
Play to Win has been brought to you by the Southeastern Nissan dealers, Mellow Mushroom Pizza Bakers, and Estes Services.